Okay, welcome everybody. So my name is Monique Sayers, for those of you who haven't met me, and I'm here with one of our beautiful co-authors from A New Paradigm of Education, Carrie Jeroslow. Maybe we can start out by getting to know you a little bit. Could you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yes. Well, I am an author and a relationship coach. However, I think at the base of who I am is I'm an intuitive. And I have been on this path of spiritual awakening for probably almost 30 years. Is really when I first read a book, Marianne Williamson's A Woman's Worth. And that is really what created the question of maybe I'm more than I think I am. Maybe I'm more than just this body. And so it's been a 30-year exploration and continues to be. Because just when I think I might have something figured out, there is just so much unknown out there that I think intuitively we know, but we don't know in the physical space. And so I'm always just going into it and learning more and growing and evolving and awakening really more to my truth. One of the biggest, I guess, labels that I have that I love is I am mother to two incredible spirited little boys. They're not so little anymore. One's 8 and 12. So, they're growing up and I'm loving watching them evolve in this world that they have birthed into. It's so different from when I grew up. And a lot of it is really good. A lot of it is a little challenging, but that's why I love being a part of this project. It's really for them. It's to create a world for them because education has been definitely a hot topic in our house. And so that's why I'm really drawn to this subject and so excited to be a part of this.
That's so beautiful to share. I love that. And I actually love Carrie's chapter that she's written because it talks all about your own parenting with your children in terms of intuition. And you also talk about the quantum field and how we can be bringing this type of energetic work, how necessary it is actually to be bringing it to our children and to be kind of listening to them as well in terms of what they already know. So I'd love to know a bit more about that, actually, if you wanted to go into a little bit.
Well, I learned from pretty much the moment that I was pregnant that there is a wisdom that these spirits come into bodies with. Okay, there's a wisdom. And the paradigm that I grew up in is the adult knows best. And I called it, Noah's way. That's my son, when he birthed in the way that he wanted and needed to come into the world. And I talk about it in the book. I had a very different thought of how I wanted his birth to go. And he birthed in a way that was actually so wise and ended up really saving my life. And so it was at that point where I began to question all of my spiritual learnings, understandings, and how that came into the children that are coming in. And I believe that these are spirits that have chosen to come in at this time. There is a huge rebirth happening in terms of energetically. And just hearing my children and the way that they talked at such an early age, it has perked up my ears and said, well, they know something that I maybe don't. And I've seen them, witness spirits in my house and talk to me about them and talk to me about, I was just laying in bed yesterday and my 8-year-old said to me, Mom, you are such a sweethearted person. And just like for an 8-year-old to say that, I started tearing up. And just that he saw my heart and the love that I have for him, and that he is birthing into a world that is wanting that kind of unity and heart-centered living. It was just a really special moment.
Oh, wow. That's so beautiful to share. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think I really connected with you and your vision in that, because you saw the children as so much more than just the physical body. I would love to ask you, where did that come in to your growth as a person and as a educator?
So for me, I guess the more that I have awakened in myself and chosen myself to be like a peaceful portal, I guess that has allowed me to open up to new ways, just naturally evolving. And I don't actually know how to answer that question with that. I know that I just listen to children and I feel joy around them, and I hear them and I see them, but I would like to actually know more what they're, I don't think I'm intuitive as intuitive as you. Like, I'd like to know more about them, but all I know is for myself, like as a vessel of peace and love and joy, that that is my purpose with them, is to be able to kind of be an anchor point for that, and then just that expansion for them, to allow them to be what it is that they are. So I think that skill within me is developing in a way, and yeah, the deeper that I go, the deeper it will kind of transform everybody, right?
Yeah, I think, when you talk about listening and opening your ears, I think that's really the first step in being open to more, more of their intuitive gifts, because the old paradigm of education is very much like, I stand here and I'm separate from you, and I know what you're supposed to know. When we open our ears to the wisdom of these children, we get the gifts of their communication and of their knowledge. And I'll say that, I feel like I have a very good balance of the physical and the spiritual, because there is an aspect of them being in a physical body. And so really, like my first child, I feel intuitively has never had a body in the 3D physical world. Now that's so crazy, right? Like, how would I know that? But there were just, as he was growing up, there was just things that were like how he ate or didn't eat, really, how he slept or didn't sleep, like those things that are a part of this 3D experience, he just didn't know how to do. And still, almost at 12 years old, doesn't.
Wow.
And the juxtaposition between him and my younger son, who just kind of had it. He just kind of knew. He wasn't I never had great sleepers as babies. We nursed pretty much my youngest and I through the night, which was a healing for me, because my oldest didn't nurse at all. And so, but my youngest sleeps well and just eats and is able to assimilate into the physical world easier. It's kind of a subtle energetics to read that. And so understanding where they come into and what what their purpose is ever evolving. But it's also important to, hi honey. It's also important to understand how to balance the two. They aren't just energetics. They are physical beings who want hugs, like they're that connection, that physical connection of hugs and snuggles and kisses, and is just as important as honoring their intuitive, innate aspects of themselves.
Yeah, totally. She's always coming in. She can feel the energy. Always wants to join in with the energy. It's really been quite amazing. That's just a perfect example, isn't it? When two people are creating and talking about the vortex, they always want to come. And what I wanted to say about the new paradigm of education in terms of what you've shared in your chapter is really profound, because you've given us lots of different tools and things that, as educators, like as myself as a teacher, like in a classroom or out of a classroom, in my home, things like that, that they're really, really going to be really useful, and maybe eye-opening for some people who have never actually learned about energetics in a way that you've been sharing. And yeah, I really look forward to trying them myself as the practices that you've got there. I won't share them all now. We can talk about it from the book, but I just feel really grateful that in this new paradigm that this is what's going to be happening. We're walking hand in hand with, like, I don't even want to say two worlds. I just want to say with energy, with the whole energy, with the wholeness of the world. And that this is what's needed, and this is what the children are calling forth. So I feel like that was probably the awakening that you were asking me about, like, how did it come? It just came because that's what's happening with the earth at this moment. So the children are responding to that naturally, and then it's us that needs to then awaken and respond back to create this flow of it actually becoming reality, you know, like big time reality. So
it is true. And I coach and I do readings for so many adults who I feel if they had this information when they were younger and they were educated in this NQ education or energetic, education, that the world would be in a different place right now. And at the same time, I feel like we're exactly where we are meant to be. And there is something about this beautiful, group of spirits, beings who have incarnated into bodies who are helping us to heal ourselves and then heal the planet. And so it's like, I have nephews and a niece who are in their 20s, and I started seeing it when they were in their teens, and the way that they look at the world. And I'm seeing it even more with my kids who are, I guess, the next generation. We are all working together to help raise the vibration and to create a world with more unity and connection. We have gotten so disconnected, and all we really want is to connect with people, to extend love, to feel love, and to be love. And I hear a lot of people, that say that's like, a pipe dream. How could it happen? But I hold the vision of that world. I hold the vision of that world for my children, and for myself, and for the people that I know are, we're inundated with all the divisiveness, but there are a lot of people who want to come together and who want to unite in love.
It's actually necessary. It's not actually, I don't feel like it's even a choice anymore. I think it's necessary. I know everything in life is a choice, but it just feels super necessary to do this for our children, because they deserve that world. They deserve that world of peace, and they already are that. They're born that way. So imagine creating that completely for the next generation. It would literally change the evolution of the planet. So
it would, absolutely. And then to bring even, like a more out there thought of all of the possibilities, the limitless possibilities, if you look at the quantum field, of any way we can go. And I choose to go in the reality of united consciousness and love. That is where I choose to go. And people can choose whatever they want, but there are limitless possibilities. And that's actually been proven scientifically through the study of quantum physics and quantum mechanics. So, that's where I'm choosing to go.
That's so beautiful. That's so awesome. So anything else to share before we wrap up?
I'm just excited to continue the conversation and to be a part of what you have birthed in your mind, what was downloaded to you. I feel just so honored to be a part of it and to have, just been on this process up until now with you. And I invite people who feel that there is another way, like, even if it doesn't have to be everything that we talk about in the book that resonates, but just that question, is there another way to educate our children that will really support them and really bring connection to the planet and a healing to the planet? And even if that question is there, to just pick up the book and and be a part of the conversation. I'm sure there's lots of areas that we didn't even touch on that are part of this new paradigm. So would love to invite people to come into the world.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. Yes, the whole book was written around the vision of what is serving students for their highest good. And then the second question, like what you're saying, is, well, what are you going to do about that?
Mhm.
So planting the seeds for that awakening in whatever form that takes place, as you're saying, for humanity and for our parents and our educators and everybody all together. So yeah, well, thank you everybody for being with us. And yeah, we look forward to sharing the book with you October the 9th and connecting. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you,
Namaste.
Monique.
Thank you.
Namaste.